So today we are going to learn about sensors, and we start by defining a sensor as a device that detects and responds to some type of input from the physical environment. In another definition, we can say a sensor is a device which monitors changes in a physical environment. We say also a sensor is an input transducer, meaning that it changes a physical element value to an electrical signal value that can be understood by the signal. So sensors are very important part of electronic system. Example of commonly used sensors so that we will be able to understand how they work. We can look at few examples. And one example, we can use a temperature sensor. So a temperature sensor is a device used to measure amount of heat energy that allows to detect a physical change in temperature from a particular source and convert the data from a device or user. This is known as temperature sensor. So in simple, it converts heat energy into a corresponding electrical signal that can be changed into a readable value that can be easily understood by the user. Another example of a sensor is a proximity sensor. So proximity sensor is a device that detects the presence or absence of a nearby object or properties of that object and convert it into a signal which can be easily read by user or a simple electronic instrument without getting in contact with them. So proximity sensor it just convert the detection of presence or absence of any obstruction or a nearby object and convert it into a signal, a corresponding signal that can be understood by the system, which converts this value into a value which is readable or understandable by the user. So from the two you can see that they are converting a physical value. One is heat energy, and for this one is abstraction into a corresponding electrical signal. Another example is a pressure sensor. Pressure sensor is a device that senses pressure and converts it to an electronic signal. Here the amount depends upon the value of pressure applied. So for this one, it converts the pressure in electrical signal. Another example is a smoke sensor. A smoke sensor is a device that senses smoke or airborne particles and gases and its level, and as usual converted into a signal which corresponds to them so that they can be understood by the reader. We can also look at other examples of sensors. There are so many, like humidity sensors, gas sensors, rate sensors, ultrasonic sensors, which senses the obstruction distance and they give the corresponding value. So as you can see, all these sensors they sense the physical value and then convert it into an electrical signal that can be able to be uh, interpreted by the system to give a readable value that that a user can delete. So that's how the sensors